Welcome to Cheat Code Nutrition, the podcast where science meets strategy to help you decode your body and unlock next level health. I'm your host, Ellie Young, functional nutrition practitioner and genetic testing nerd, here to guide you through the real root causes of fatigue, stubborn weight, hormonal chaos, and mystery symptoms the traditional system shrugs off. Whether you're optimizing for longevity, performance, or just want to feel like yourself again, you're in the right place. Around here, we don't guess, we test. We use functional lab work, genetic nutrition, and a no BS approach to precision wellness that works with your body, not against it. If you're ready to ditch the one size fits all protocols and start working with your actual blueprint, this is your cheat code. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Cheat Code Nutrition. This is Ellie Young, and I am having an awesome week, you guys, for a couple reasons. One, my kids went back to school on Wednesday, and while it feels like an enormous relief, I still have that mom guilt that, like, oh, I should have spent more time with them. I should have been more present. I should have done all the things. I think everybody kind of feels like this. But dang, I have got so much done this week. I've needed a full reset mentally and physically in my space. I have been cleaning and rearranging my office, which felt so good, reclaiming my dining room table. I know you guys all understand. But in addition to this awesome news of the kids going back, I also got all of my function lab data back, and I am on cloud nine because it said that my biological age is 29. I have reverse aged 14.4 years. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've been gloating about this because I am just so excited after all the functional testing that I have done, all the different little rabbit holes I've gone down. I have finally moved the needle and received this incredible feedback that what I am doing is working. So I wanted to share this journey with you guys because it hasn't always been this way, right? I drank for decades. I didn't get alcohol free until I was 40. It was just before my 40th birthday. And it took me 4.5 years later to get me to the point that I am now. I'm almost 5 years alcohol free. And I've landed in a place now where I am an integrative and functional nutrition practitioner. But it's a long journey to get there. And I want to share it to you if you are just at the beginning stages of your alcohol-free journey, or maybe you're sober curious, or maybe you're still drinking. I want to share with you the steps that I took that got me to this place of ultimate healing to the point where I've biologically reverse aged. I keep joking with my husband that I'm like, he liked to say that he was going to turn me in for a younger version, once I hit like in my 40s. But I was like, I did it. I reverse aged myself. So you're dealing with a hot little 29-year-old now, right? You know what I was doing at 29? I was having a baby. I was pregnant with my first son, Ollie, who's 14 years old, which is kind of incredible. So anyways, let's get into it. So we're going to talk about my journey through the alcohol-free, getting alcohol-free, short and sweet, although it was not. We all know there's a lot more nuance to that story. I'm going to talk about functional nutrition for hormone balance, how I got into nutrigenomics, and 5 cheat codes that I have learned from my genetic report that has allowed me to have this trajectory in my health where I am now 14 and a half years younger than I am on the calendar. All right. Who is this for? If you are listening, this is for women who really want to stop guessing and start personalizing their health. No more following a bunch of random protocols and vitamins and supplement strategies from like some hot girl on Instagram. We are actually going to get to the root of your DNA so that we are not just treating symptoms. We are going all the way upstream to the cause of your issues. This is also for women who want to tap into the future of medicine today. If you are not drinking or you're dabbling in the sober curious lifestyle, you are already way ahead of the curve. And this is that next level for you. If this is how you actually start to become the CEO of your own health and start to tap into all of this amazing science that is so accessible to us now, you don't need to go wait for a doctor's appointment, schedule the labs, do all of this long waiting process just for some expert, quote unquote expert, to tell you if you're out of range or in range. Like, I can read a report, folks, right? You don't need someone to tell you that you're out of range. Maybe you need them to order the lab. Maybe you need them to order a prescription for you. But again, that is all the way downstream, just putting a band aid on things and not getting to the root cause approach. So we are not doing that. We are not doing one size fits all advice. We are not chasing symptoms, and we are not wasting time and energy guessing what is right for your body. So, a little background on me and my drinking, basically. I was a D1 athlete. I played soccer. I was a huge partier, huge partier. I was also still a student. I really don't know how I did all this, to be honest, because I graduated magna cum laude. I was a bartender for part of the time in college. That's actually where I met my husband, bartending between my junior and senior year of college. I met him in a bar, and we partied our way through the first 6 years of marriage. I got married pretty young. I was only 24. So rather uh, immature, and continued on that partying lifestyle into my early kind of work career. Got married, popped out some kids, kept drinking. I was a typical overachieving mom type, trying to do it all. And basically, it all peaked for me during the pandemic. I was incredibly stressed trying to homeschool my two boys, and my two dogs at the time were dying. They were 13 years old. They were my first babies, and I was basically in doggy hospice and homeschooling my two boys. And the dogs ended up passing a month apart from each other, and it was awful. I was doing the best that I could at that time, and drinking to get through with it, drinking to cope. Um, but it peaked in a place where it was incredibly painful for me, but nobody would ever have said, "Ooh, you need to stop drinking." I was within this gray area of, what would people would call normal. But it was deeply, deeply troubling to me on so many different levels, and I knew I needed to change. So in dry January 2021, I tried it, I failed, but I kept going. In February of that year, I knew I was onto something. I had strung together enough days in a row that I was like, "Oh my god, I feel so much better." So I started reading all of the Quit Lit available. I started following sober Instagram. I started listening to podcasts. I hired a coach. I worked with a coach for about 3 to 4 months, and that was it for me. The switch was flipped. I never looked back, and I became alcohol free. And this shift was so incredibly powerful for me. I had so much mental clarity. I have so much more energy. I was sleeping. I lost weight. I was like, this is it. I must have the most ultimate health now. And I was already really into health. I was really into fitness and healthy eating, or so I thought. What in my limited knowledge, I thought I was a healthy person. But I was 40, 41, and I went to the doctor for my annual labs, and I almost was like, I think I had just started sharing my alcohol-free journey on Instagram because I had become a coach. I got certified with This Naked Mind. I was shouting it from the rooftops, trying to help everybody, on their alcohol-free journey. And I was documenting my lab visit to the doctor, and I never ended up posting it because I was embarrassed. Like, I thought for sure I was going to have this stellar lab report, and instead it came back my cholesterol had gone up, my weight had gone up, and my biological age that I had calculated with some other company. I basically uploaded my data to this other company, and they calculated I was actually older. I was 41 at the time, and it was saying I was like 41 and a half, and I was devastated. I was like, "What? How could this be? I'm 1 year alcohol free. I've got um all this health. I thought I was working out all the time." But let's be honest. This is what I was doing. I was drinking a ton of caffeine. You know those drinks called Celsius, those energy drinks? I was like, "They're low carb and they're full of sucralose." And I had no problem just pounding. I would drink 2 of those a day. I was also allowing myself a lot of sugar. I was like, "You're already doing the hard thing of not drinking. Why not eat the pizza? Why not eat the carbs? Why not eat the treats?" When I'd go out to dinner and everyone else would be drinking, I would order dessert, right? I also had a lot of low carb products, which were filled with like weird sugar substitutes that messed up my gut health. I called this healthy. I also tried intermittent fasting like a man. My husband got into this. He's a bit of a biohacker himself, and I was like, "Oh, I should try intermittent fasting." But I never paid attention to my cycle. I literally never, like, had a clue what was going on in my cycle until my period came. I was just like, "Well, there it is every month." I was, like, always kinda surprised, and then I would look back in hindsight and was like, "Oh, yeah, I was kinda bitchy the last couple days, huh? There you go." Never correlated anything to my diet, my sleep, my behavior, just winging it essentially, right? So this was an eye opener for me that I had done this massive health move of cutting alcohol out and I was not significantly healthier. I mean, I can't imagine what my labs would have been when I was still drinking. Actually, I take that back. The first year I did my labs, I was 39. I had not gone to the doctor regular and I was like, I'm creeping up there in age. I need to go start getting annual blood work and things like that, right? So my first annual blood work, my liver enzymes came back high. And I was like, "Oh my god." Like, I knew how much I was drinking, but did I let the doctor know how much I was drinking? At the time, I was doing keto and drinking tequila. I was low carb, super low carb, and eating, like, high fat and high protein, and instead of thinking it could be the alcohol, I chalked it up to, "Ooh, all that high fat diet must be hard on my liver. That's why my liver enzymes are high." And I went down the rabbit hole trying to find evidence of that, like, to prove to myself that my liver enzymes were high because of keto, not because of the tequila I was pounding every single night. I even told the doctor, "I drink tequila." Did she quantify it? Did she ask? Was she concerned? Absolutely not. She said, don't drink for 3 days, and let's redo your blood work and see if the liver enzymes go down. So I couldn't string together 3 days in a row of not drinking for, like, 6 months or something, and I was terrified, right? I was terrified deeply about what this meant about me and whatnot. So long story short, I finally strung together 3 days, and I went in, and my liver enzymes had gone back into the normal range. So I was like, "Whew, okay, phew." But that was not drinking 3 days. Was I doing that regularly? No, I was drinking all the time. So, fast forward to beating 41, I thought, "I haven't drank for a year. I'm gonna be the picture of health," and I wasn't. This was like an eye opener for me. Just, "Whoa, wait a minute. What more do I have to do? Is this being 40? Is this what being in your 40s is about?" So I had to learn a new way. And lucky for us, there was no shortage of information about perimenopause and all of these incredible women, all these incredible doctors on the internet. Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Dr. Sarah Gottfried, Nal Sazal, Dr. Mindy Pels, Dr. Lisa Vitti. I literally devoured everything there was about hormone balance, perimenopause, and menopause, and I became an expert. And I started doing this for my clients. So I thought it was a natural part of the journey. Let's get alcohol free. And then once you get alcohol out of the diet, let's work on your hormone balance because it's really, really hard to do hormone balancing when you're still drinking. So I got into cycle syncing. I got into biohacking, sauna, cold plunge, specifically fasting for women. And what I didn't realize at the time is that this was all functional nutrition. I was now using food as medicine inside the cycle syncing. I was shifting my diet according to the different phases of my cycle, and I was changing my relationship with food. I was no longer seeing food as this thing to either punish myself with or reward myself with. Super interesting how much our relationship with food is so similar to alcohol, right? How we either reward ourselves with it or punish ourselves with it, right? And the result? Game changer for me. I lost weight. I actually started having symptom-free periods. I wasn't raging out on people. I started to feel in control of my aging, no longer powerless. This was a huge, big moment for me because I was like, I've unlocked it. I've figured this thing out. And again, when I learn something like getting alcohol free, like hormone balancing, I want to shout it from the rooftops. I want as many women to hear this because it's not rocket science. It's relatively simple. It's really easy. It's really intuitive. And the rewards are priceless because you start to connect back to your body and feel amazing again. So, functional nutrition became this thing that started slowly creeping into my life. I started teaching gut health. I started really focusing on like the 5 targets to hit at every meal, your protein, your fiber, your antioxidants, your probiotics, your omegas. I got really deep into like what specifically these foods are and how they work with your hormone health, how they work to heal your gut. I was obsessed. I loved it, and I couldn't stop talking about it. But then all of a sudden something shifted. I start I s all of a sudden, I couldn't tolerate the cold plunge anymore. All of a sudden, I was, freezing at night. All of a sudden, my hair was starting to fall. I gained 10 pounds, like, out of nowhere, and I was like, "Wait a minute, all my methods aren't working." I felt like a fraud. I was like, "How could I be coaching all these things, and yet it's not working for me?" In fact, it feels like it's backfiring again, like, what's happening? I finally went my normal labs with my regular doctor were normal, and so I went to a naturopath, again, thinking this is the answer. The naturopath is gonna do so much better than my regular doctor. I did a bunch of labs, and my experience was lackluster. I basically got a diagnosis of Hashimoto's. I was told to avoid gluten and dairy, and I was given a prescription for my thyroid and was like, "Good luck. Good luck with that, and come back for another $385 appointment if you wanna talk to me more about it." And I was like, "Huh." And I am sussing out this lady, and I'm, like, asking her a couple questions, and she didn't know. She did not know about Hashimoto's. She did not understand it fully other than a marker or reading, "You're out of range." She literally said, "This by definition is Hashimoto's, when your thyroid antibodies are high." And I was like, okay. No education, no resources." I literally felt abandoned. I had spent a ton of money, like over 1,200 bucks just to get to that point, and I was like, "Well, this sucks." So this was a big turning point for me. I went back to school for integrative and functional nutrition because, like a true overachieving geek, I was like, I'm taking this into my own hands. I want to know everything there is to know about functional nutrition, healing my body, getting to the root cause of things, understanding my gut health, everything. Because I didn't want to do a band aid approach. I was doing everything right on the surface, but I was still somehow unhealthy. My body was attacking itself. I had an autoimmune disorder. How did this happen? And ultimately, I want to help people. I know there's so many other people like me out there, and where my passion lies is in learning and teaching others to do the same because it can feel so alone out here when you are trying your hardest and not getting results, and you are so frustrated. Um, so after all of my incredible schooling, best education I've ever had, I did every functional test under the sun, practicing on myself, learning from myself, tons of mentoring hours. I landed on genetic testing. This is now my specialty. This test is your cheat code. It's a simple cheek swab, and you can unlock your DNA code. It's a one-time test you can benefit from your entire life. And what we will learn is that your genes are not your destiny, but the genes do load the gun, and your environment, what you're inputting into your body, what you're exposing yourself to, pulls the trigger. This is called epigenetics. You control how your genes are expressed. And one of the biggest ways we do that is what we eat. So, again, your genes are not your destiny. Your genes are like a blueprint, right? And epigenetics is how your lifestyle is either turning these genes on or off like a light switch, or some genes can be turned like up like a dial or dialed down. You can either speed them up or upregulate them, or turn the speed down and down regulate them. And again, this is all done with food, controlling your stress, sleep, exercise. This is epigenetics, and this is what you have control over in your life. But you need to know your blueprint. You need to know which genes that need more support so you can really fine-tunely support those. So your DNA is basically the alphabet of you. On each gene, you inherit one letter from each parent. This is called an allele. There's only 4 letters in this entire code. You have a combination of 4 different letters. And each gene contains 2 of these letters. You get one from mom and one from dad. So a gene can be neutral, meaning it has no big effect on your health. It just does its job, and it's not bad, it's not good. A gene, you could inherit a gene combination that is protective, meaning it's giving you an advantage, or you could inherit one or two risk variants. And it's basically meaning like you have one hand tied behind your back, or you might have two variants where have two hands tied behind your back. And in some cases, you might have an deletion of an actual gene or an addition of a gene. So basically, genes are like a recipe, but how they are read or expressed depends on your lifestyle and environment, and you can influence your genes significantly. So, what would a genetic test show you? So, your unique blueprint is going to reveal how you handle hormones and detox. This is so important for women to know, specifically how their body's handling estrogen in the different phases of detox so that you can fine tunely like support all the different phases. Okay. It'll reveal how you handle energy, how your body's metabolizing things, right? Are you storing fat? Are you able to burn fat more readily? What you should be eating, what you should not be eating, your nutrient needs. It will reveal how your body handles inflammation and stress, specifically oxidative stress, how your brain health is, how your mood, longevity. It is so specific. It's like reading the tea leaves for yourself. People like horoscopes, people like, what is the new thing? Human design, right? This is real. This is actually how you are built. This is the code to how you are built. This is the code that we can now learn to turn up, turn down, turn off, turn on. This is super powerful. You're going to learn about all of your cellular systems and which ones need the most support. You're going to learn specifically which nutrients you absolutely need. Like I learned, I have a really high need for omega 3s and vitamin D. So I had a fish oil. Was I super consistently taking it all the time? Was I super consistently making sure I got healthy fish, fatty fish a couple times a week? Eh, no, but now I'm like, okay, this is a priority. I'm bumping this up on my priority list. And now it's just top of mind when I go to make these choices, when I go to take my supplements, right? You're also going to learn about your energy and activity needs. So this is really, really cool. This reveals like how your body responds to exercise, whether you're built more for endurance, whether you're built more for power, and the type of growth that you can expect with consistency versus just doing it intermittently. Some people have such amazing genes that they can do one power workout or one endurance workout a week and get really incredible results, while other people need to do maybe a less intense but more consistency over time. So I love this part of the report because it really does help me fine tune the type of exercise that people should be doing. So you're not just following some hit program the hot girl on Instagram put together. So you're not jumping into some CrossFit gym. So you're not jumping into Pilates or a cycle studio. Like we can really build a workout plan that is specific to how your body's going to respond, how much inflammation you're going to create, how much rest you need, and then how to recover. Specific things about your recovery that are ideal for your body. It is so cool to see this about yourself. And most of my clients, when I'm reading these things back to them and I'm translating their report back, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, that makes so much sense. Oh, wow. Like, yeah, that does happen to me. Oh my gosh. And so we're not going to be butting up against a wall with all of these different approaches that weren't working for us in the past. All of a sudden, you're going to be in flow, in sync with how you are built. And then that allows us to make progress. Okay. All right, so here are the cheat codes that your genes report can reveal. It's going to reveal how you can eat for your body, specifically whether you can focus more on carbs versus fats versus protein, how your body handles carbs, how your body handles gluten. Should you be on like a Mediterranean diet versus a high fat diet or a keto diet? It drills down to very specific needs like vitamin D, salt, vitamin C, vitamin B12, folate, choline, all of your fatty acids, iron, caffeine. No more guessing what is right for you. You are going to know and you are going to be able to prioritize specific foods with a foods first approach to healing and then supplement where needed. Next, it reveals how to exercise. I kind of covered this, but it's basically we are going to help you train for the way that you are built. I loved one of my clients I was working with the other day. She's one of her goals is weight loss, right? She's struggling to get cardio in, but we found out she actually has an ultra power gene, meaning she is built with fast twitch muscles. She is ideal for power and like weightlifting kind of sports. So she hadn't been doing weightlifting. We got her into a weightlifting class, and now she is loving it. She's like, I feel so good, and it's just super cool to see that. Like, wow, we can, and she knows now. Hey, my body's built for this. Like, I'm not gonna go and try and, like, run on a treadmill. I'm not built for endurance. I'm built for power, and this is how my body's gonna best respond to exercise. Super cool. So we design workout intensity that matches your DNA, which is gonna give you faster results, less burnout, and we're gonna specify your recovery needs based on your inflammation and your oxidative stress. All of this is in your genes. The next up is hormone balance. This is huge for women. And again, I want to explain hormone balance. It's like a conveyor belt, right? Estrogen has to be metabolized and then detoxed out of your system. And it happens in three different phases of detox. So there are genes that are helping with all these different phases along the way. However, you can have genes that are slowing down in different phases of detox, and it's messing with the pace of your conveyor belt. Essentially, how this happens is in phase one, you have a bunch of genes that are influencing this particular enzyme called cytochrome P450. Now, this enzyme is responsible for breaking down all of the different toxins that are coming in, not only from like byproducts, the like processes in your body. Your body actually creates toxins doing all these different functions. It's also coming in from your food, your diet, the air, all sorts of things, right? So, this enzyme has a bunch of different jobs in your body, and a bunch of different genes influence how it handles each of the different toxins. So, you might have a gene that is sped up in this area, or you might have a gene that is slowed down. And the coolest part about this is we can get super fine tuned approach to diet and supplements that will help that gene out. So, we can fine tune this hormone balance. In phase one, a lot of these toxins are converted into what's called activated intermediates. These are now more toxic, often more toxic than the original toxin. So the toxin comes in, the cytochrome P450 and all these different genes start to convert and break these down and metabolize them and turn them into these intermediates that are actually more toxic. The thing is, we don't want that lingering in your body for very long. We want the next phase of detox to kick in right away so that those more toxic intermediates don't just float around causing damage in your body, right? So the problem with having a gene in this phase of your detox that is super fast is that it's converting stuff into those more toxic intermediates really, really fast. So the conveyor belt is like cooking right there, right? It's like, brrr, converting these things down. And then what happens if they get into phase two and you have genes that are slowed down in that area, your conveyor belt is now getting backed up and there's like a bottleneck and things start overflowing and those toxic elements are now getting reabsorbed and causing havoc in your system. This is where estrogen dominance happens, and this is where estrogen ends up going down a more dangerous pathway in your body, a more cancer causing path in your body. All right. So, what we do with your gene report, or what I do with your gene report, is I zone in on the different phases of your detox and I find out where do we need support? Do we need to slow things down? Sometimes, if you've got a fast gene in phase one, we want to down regulate it. We want to slow it down a bit so that your conveyor belt can catch up in phase two. Yeah, we're going to support phase two with specific foods and specific supplements, but we also maybe need to slow down that pace of phase one a little bit and help your phase two catch up to the pace. So there's really specific things that we can do to help women achieve hormone balance. And to be honest, every single one of my clients that I've worked with this, we have been able to make a subtle shift in things. And ultimately, they are all feeling better with these types of shifts. And it's like such a game changer. Again, it's not super hard. It's literally Maybe you're taking a supplement. This happens with a lot of women. A lot of the detox supplements that are meant for hormone balance are speeding up that phase one. And so a lot of products are sold to speed up phase one. However, if you have some genes that are slow in phase two, you're going to create that bottleneck for yourself. And you are going to struggle to have your phase two catch up with that. So that's where a lot of estrogen dominance happens. I see this a lot actually with HRT patients who are taking estrogen, which a lot of people think it bypasses the detox system. No, it actually still does have to go through the liver, and it does need to be detoxed out of your body. So you can actually give yourself estrogen dominance when you are on HRT. You thought, oh, I don't have any estrogen, I'm going to start taking estrogen now. You still need to metabolize and detox the estrogen out of your body, and we can still support that through these different phases. All right, so that's enough about hormone balance. That's a big one. That's a big one I really focus on with my clients. The next cheat code, number 4, is energy and resilience. We can literally unlock your energy code, which is tied up in methylation. These are the gears in your body that need to turn so that all of these other systems can flow. And this is really nutrient specific. This is really supplement specific that a lot of times people are taking the wrong supplement here that is gumming up the gears of your methylation and preventing all of these downstream processes from running smoothly. So one of the things I do is I do a supplement audit. We go through all of your supplements with a fine-tooth comb, and I make sure you are not doubling up on some nutrient that is gumming up your methylation system, and then we plug in the nutrients that you specifically need to help things flow. This part is a game changer. The last cheat code here, stress and recovery. This report is going to help you recover smarter and stress less. We are going to be able to lower your overall inflammation and oxidative stress because we are going to be able to fine tune a target, the genes, the pro inflammatory genes that need to calm down. This is like why some people can bounce back and other people's can't. My body does not handle stress well. Stressful mental situations, stressful physical situations. I would get physically ill sometimes. Hello, autoimmune disorder. And now I know how to handle it differently and better. Game changer, absolute game changer. All right. So ultimately, the message I want you guys to get here is that you hold the power. You do not have to turn over all of this kind of questions to a healthcare provider and be like, tell me what to do. All of this data can be yours. You can literally, these are direct to consumer labs. There's Function Health where you can get all of your functional labs done for $500 annually. I asked the tech at the lab how much all of these tests would cost a person if they were to buy them a la carte, and she said $3,000. Sure, you guys can try to order them through your insurance. Whether or not it'll pay for them is one thing. Whether or not your doctor will order them is a whole nother thing. But you can take matters into your own hands and go through Function Health and order your own labs. You can also order your own gene report through me. And the coaching through me is where I help translate that into an actual functional nutrition plan for you, specific to your hormone balance needs, your goals. This is basically taking your information into transformation. We all know how to eat healthy. There is no shortage of information about what it means to be healthy out there, right? But it's a ton of information. And what we don't know, the problem is we don't know what actually works for you. I was a victim of this. I tried everything. I tried so many different strategies, and it turns out those were not right for me. I tried different supplements that were speeding up the wrong part of my detox cycle. And I was like, no wonder that didn't work. That makes so much more sense now. Genetic testing gives you clarity and precision. This is the future of medicine. So what did I gain? What did I gain from this test? I mean, and this whole journey that I've been on, other than 14 and a half years younger biologically, I will take it. Yes, sir. I have learned that my body thrives on a Mediterranean and high omega-3 diet. I am not just taking, a lot of people take fish oils. If you have some genes that mean you're struggling to make your omega-3, struggling to convert it, struggling to process it, you want to take a therapeutic dose of omega-3s. Okay. And what that is different for everybody. What was the result of this, though? I lowered my cholesterol. I lowered my triglycerides and my A1C. Your A1C is an average of your blood glucose for the last 3 months. And so there's a gauge there that can tell you if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. I was never in the pre-diabetic range, but now again, I'm in the optimal range for A1C and triglycerides. My cholesterol is still slightly high. But it's the lowest it's been in literally 20 years. I cannot believe it. I'm blown away. Next, I found out that I am built for both endurance and power. So I can balance my workouts and I can also get a lot of bang for buck out of my workouts. I am not somebody who now I used to think I needed to work out every day. Turns out my body actually produces a ton of oxidative stress and inflammation. So I need more recovery days. But because I am built for power and endurance, I can do a hard workout and then take a day off. A hard workout and then take a day off. And my body's going to respond well to that. The result, less inflammation. My workouts are better because I'm not burnt out. Next up, longevity focus. I learned I have the ApoE4 gene. This is a risk variant for Alzheimer's. It runs in my family. My grandfather passed away, my aunt now has it, and my dad has the genes as well. This brings into sharp focus for me how important inflammation and lipid management are for me. The result, I am now really focusing on brain health boosting foods, strategies, exercising, and testing. I am looking into testing that I can do versus spending money on mammograms that I have no breast cancer genes, I have no other cancer causing genes, and I have no family history of it. So I don't need to be getting mammograms. I need to be testing for Alzheimer's stuff. I need to be focusing on that. This, again, brings into sharp focus what is most important for you. I also learned about strength and tissue support. Turns out my bones and joints need a lot of extra love. The result, again, I was taking collagen here and there. Now it's like for sure get my collagen as much as I can. Bone broth. I take a collagen supplement in my matcha latte. Also, I'm incorporating jumping to help build a stronger, more resilient body. Lastly, your cheat code is waiting for you. You guys have already done the hard work. You have done so much research on fitness, so much research on supplements, diets, all these different things. You've done so much work. Let's get to the root of your cheat code. Getting alcohol free is just the beginning. Let's optimize your next chapter. Let's unlock your cheat code together. So go to mycheatcodenutrition.com. Check out my genetic nutrition testing and coaching. And if you made it all the way to the end of this podcast, I want to offer you guys a bonus. I want you to enter friends at discount and you will get 20% off. Maybe you are lucky and you made it to the end. 20% off using codes friends. As always, I am with you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in to Cheat Code Nutrition. If today's episode sparked some curiosity about what your genes are trying to tell you, grab my free guide, 5 Genes You Should Know to Optimize Your Health. It's linked for you in the show notes. And if you're ready to skip the guesswork and start working with your actual blueprint, check out my genetic nutrition coaching offer, also linked in the show notes. Your next level of health might just be one test away. Until next time, stay curious, stay nourished, and don't forget, your body's not broken. It just speaks a different language. Let's learn to speak it fluently.